All right, students, if you are watching this essay, that means that you are basically near the end of your essay, outlining it, and you're almost ready to put it together into a final draft, which is all good news. Now, just a previous little recap, just for those of you who might be a little bit behind or might have missed a few days. This is the third video that I presented to you. In fact, if I scroll down here, on Friday, I gave students a video on outlining their essay where I walked them through the step by step process to outlining your introduction and getting your body paragraph started. And then on Monday, I gave students another video tutorial about how to outline their body paragraphs. And this is what students have been working on probably for the last day or two. And this is the bulk of your essay. This is where you're stating your essay's case, the argument that you're making, and supporting it with evidence and all those steps that I asked you to go through in the body paragraph outline. Right? But if you're watching this video, hopefully you are near the end. You've already outlined your introduction, you've already outlined your body paragraphs, and you're ready to outline your conclusion or write your conclusion and put it all together in a final draft. So first things first, I'm going to need you to open up your Romeo and Juliet essay outline again. So if you don't have it open, please pause the video now and open up this essay outline. Okay, I'm assuming if you're back, then you've opened up the essay outline. Now for this video, I just went through and chose a random student's essay outline as a sample to utilize. But I'm going to go ahead and scroll all the way down past their outline to the conclusion. Now, the conclusion paragraph has three parts. Each one of them I color coded just so they kind of stand out to you. You want to close out your essay's argument by restating your essay's position and thesis. You want to make connections to a broader topic or context, which I'll talk about in just a second. And you want to close your essay with some strong words or food for thought. That's basically just leaving your reader with some advice or some kind of a nice strong ending to your paper. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, the first step is to close out your argument by restating your essay's position and thesis. So what you want to do is go all the way back up to your introduction, and you want to look at your thesis statement in your introduction. Right? And you basically want to rewrite this statement, but what you want to do is you want to do it in slightly different terms. Right? So you're taking this thesis statement right here, and you're rewriting it down here in this box. However, you want to do it in slightly different words so you're not repeating yourself. So in just a second, I'm going to ask you to pause the video and rewrite your thesis statement right here in this box. So pause the video and do that now. Okay, if you are back, I'm assuming that you've already wrote your thesis statement in this box, which means, or rewrote your thesis statement in this box, which means you have to do two more things. One is make connections to a broader context. Now, what does that mean? Basically, after someone has read your essay, what can they or how does it relate to today's society, or what can they take away from your essay in relationship to a broader context, like the broader world that we live in, right? So what you want to do is just a few sentences, not a whole lot, where you just kind of talk about, okay, now that I've wrote all this in my essay, what can a reader today get out of your essay, and what can they kind of learn from your essay, or not about Romeo and Juliet, but about like life and your thesis, right? So what I'd like you to do right now is pause and just write a couple sentences about connecting your essay to an overall broader context. Pause and do that now. Okay, if you're back, then I'm assuming that you've done this part in red, which means you got one last part, and that's just closing your essay with some strong words or food for thought. That's like one final statement or two that just kind of closes out your paper, that kind of, just kind of concludes it in a way that you end with kind of leaving your reader with some, something to think about or something to wonder that's related to your essay and what your essay was all about. Now, these two parts are hard, both making the connections for a broader context. Closing out your essay are more just your own thoughts. Without using I. Don't put I anywhere into your essay or anywhere into your paper. Just so some strong statements to kind of end your essay, or a strong statement to end your essay. So what I'd like you to do right now in just a second is when I say pause the video is to try to close out your essay with some strong words. So go ahead and do that now. Pause the video. Okay, if you're back, then I'm assuming that this box is full and that you actually have a lot of things written in this box, a paragraph where you first restated your thesis statement. That's the first thing that you should have done. You made connections to a broader context, and then you closed out your essay with a statement or two that were kind of strong or left your reader with some kind of food for thought, something to think about in relationship to your essay, right? Which means your conclusion paragraph is done, which means that your entire paper should be done or outlined. So now you're ready to move it over to the final draft copy. So how do we do that? Well, first thing I'm going to need you to do, if you haven't already, is to go back to Google Classroom and open up this Romeo and Juliet essay final draft. So please do that now. Pause the video and open this up. Okay, if you're back, I'm sure you have this document open. It should look like this on your screen. So what you would do first is you want to kind of fix the heading where it says name. You want to delete that, put your own name in there. Don't write your name next to name. Delete the name. I already have the due date on there for you, the date that your paper is due, so you don't have to worry about that. For period, you would just put your period number, whether your first period or second period or third, depending on your period number. So for this one, I'm just going to put 1 as an example. For title, we can go ahead and leave that blank for now. We can come back to that. Right? And then it says start here. Well, I don't want you to start after the start here, so I'm going to want you to delete this. So, in just a second, please pause your video, rewrite your name, write your period number, and then delete the start here portion. So pause and do that now. Okay, if you're back, then I'm assuming that you have a heading written already for your paper and that you are ready to kind of put your essay together. So here's the thing. By outlining your essay, you already have most of it written or done for you. So again, my first paragraph should be my introduction, correct? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy my attention grabbing sentence. I'm going to come over to this document. I'm going to make sure I'm on my cursor where it's indented. I'm going to go ahead and enter it in. And you notice it's already double spaced for you. See there's 2 spaces here between? I set that up for you already. See how it's indented here at the beginning as well? So what I want you to do is go ahead and copy and paste your attention grabbing sentence to start off your essay. So pause and do that now. Okay, if you're back, then I'm assuming that your essay has your attention grabbing sentence in. So then I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to go right to the next part, which is the background information. I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to come back over to my essay. I'm going to do a space after my period. I'm going to go ahead and paste that in. Now I'm going to scroll back here. I'm going to grab the thesis statement. I'm going to copy that because that's the third part of the introduction. And I'm going to paste that in. And look at that. That introduction is already done. So you have the attention grabbing sentence, you have the background information, and you have the thesis statement. So I want you to put your introduction together now on your document by pausing the video and doing that now. Okay, if you're back, then I'm assuming you have an introduction paragraph on your paper that is double spaced with your, again, your attention grabbing sentence, your background information, and your thesis statement. So what do you do next? Well, all you got to do is hit enter and then tab open again to kind of indent. Again, I hit the tab button to indent. and I'm going to go to my next paragraph, which is my first body paragraph. So again, just in this order, I'm going to copy the first sentence. I'm going to come back over here and paste it. I'm going to again go to my first example, copy that, come back over here and paste it. Then I'm going to go to my first piece of evidence, copy that, over here, space and paste it. And I'm going to go to my second, or what is suggested. I'm going to copy that. I'm just going in order of my outline, and I'm putting it together. And then finally, another example, and so on and so forth. And I now have my first example, my first body paragraph already done. Again, and then I would just continue. This would be the next. Again, I'm just going to copy that real quick. Kind of do it quickly. Copy that. Oops. I'm going to come back over here. That's my next one. Come back through here. Copy that. And next one. Just notice how I'm just kind of piecing it together, using the outline to guide my essay, and then just in the same exact order, and then we're almost done. Just a second here. Now, if the student doesn't have a third example, then they wouldn't need to add that. If they do have a third example, they would want to add that to the end. Right? So now I'm done with my first body paragraph. I put everything for this paragraph in order. So once again, I'm going to want you to pause the video and put your whole first body paragraph together. Okay, if you're back, then I'm sure that you have your whole first body paragraph together, which means you're ready to put your second body paragraph in. So I'm going to hit enter again and tab in. It actually did it for me this time because it knows I'm writing an essay. It can tell I'm writing an essay. Google is smart. And then I would come back down here and I would start off my second body paragraph. So I'm just going to copy this, go ahead and paste it on there. Again, now look at this. I noticed that it didn't double space it. So I can easily fix that by doing that and making sure that it's double spaced. But again, it's double spaced there. So I would now write my second body paragraph, and I would then consider do the same thing all over again, putting the whole second body paragraph together. And then I would do it for the third body paragraph, and then add your conclusion. And when you're all done, your whole essay will be written on this document. Okay? So what I'd like you to do right now is pause and put your whole essay together in 4 or 5 paragraphs on this document. All right, if you're back, then I'm assuming that you've paused and put your whole essay together. So your entire 5 paragraphs should be on this document, your introduction, your body paragraphs, and your conclusion, which means you have a couple things left to do. First, a title. You want to give it a title that kind of reflects what your paper was arguing, the position of your paper, the thesis of your paper. So this paper was all about the feud between the Montagues and Capulets and how that's most to blame for the tragedy, right? That's what they were arguing. So I can start just title my essay by saying something like the problems with feuds, how it causes tragedy in Romeo and Juliet. And that's the title too, so I'm going to underline that. All right. So see, this title gives I don't call it Romeo and Juliet essay, right? I have a title that tells me, the reader, what this paper is about. This problem is about the problems with feuds and how it causes tragedy in Romeo and Juliet. Now, you don't need to use this exact one. You would change it for whatever your paper is arguing at, but you don't have to copy me. You just do something similar, and come up with your own essay. But by reading the title, I should have an idea what that paper is about. And reading this title, I know that it's going to talk about problems with feuds, and I'm also going to talk about how it causes tragedy in Romeo and Juliet. You don't want to make your title too long. Never more than a line. This is about as long as I would ever go with a title. Maybe slightly longer. It could even be a little bit shorter. So I want you to pause the video and now give your essay a title. All right, if you're back, then I'm assuming you came up with a title for your essay. Right? So now what else do we still need to do? Well, we go back to our outline and go all the way to the bottom. You'll notice that I have some other suggestions at the bottom of things you can do to improve the quality of your essay. Now you don't have to go into too much work here, but does your essay avoid first and second person pronouns? Do you have any I, my, you, or your in there, right, that aren't part of quotes? Like, if you do, you should not have yourself in your essay at all. You should not say I, or I think, or I feel, or in my essay, or you're not talking to somebody. You're not saying you or your. You should say the audience or the reader. Also, does your paper have sophisticated diction? That's word choices. You might want to go back through your essay and see, is there places where I'm using informal grammar or slang or word choices. So you might want to give your whole essay a nice read through and read the whole paper and look for places where you can improve your word choices, improve your grammar. It doesn't actually even hurt to read your essay out loud to yourself, because that's a great way to catch any kind of grammar issues when you read out loud. So what I'd like you to do right now is, in just a second, pause the video, give your essay a read once or twice through, and look for anything that you can improve or fix or create or change or revise. So pause the video and do that now. All right, if you're back, then I'm assuming that you've read through your essay and that you've kind of looked for grammar issues, checked for it. Again, you can do this more than 2 times. You can do it as many times as you think you need to do until you feel like you have the best grammar possible. Remember, this is English class, and I will be grading the grammar in your essay. And basically, you are done then. Your essay should be completed, typed, double spaced, 5 paragraphs, all on this document, ready to go. And then all you got to do is submit your essay, turn it in, and you are finished. So, congratulations. If you reach this point, you are probably done or you're close to being done. And good job. Essay writing is not easy. So, I'm very happy that you were able to complete it. All right. Take care. Good luck to you.